our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go. Hey, Lancaster, it's summertime officially because it's hot. That's how you know it's summertime.
What do we have, like 100 and some degree heat wave earlier? Well, last week this time, right?
It was a record.
It was incredibly warm.
Yeah, good. It's a good reason we have our guests that we've had as of late.
A much needed service when it's warm.
Yes.
And cold.
Yeah. And to prepare.
That's true. We're going to talk about that.
They want you to think about them before it gets hot or before it gets too cold.
Because sometimes it's too late, right? I'm sure they can help quickly, but...
And ain't nobody got time for that.
No, not in 110 degree...
When you have no air conditioning.
Heat wave, yeah. Yep. Well, you haven't guessed. Our guest, who we'll bring on in a moment, is her name is Rachel, and she is the business development manager at Lancaster Plumbing and Heating, Air Conditioning, et cetera, right? We're going to have a great conversation with Rachel. She's also the founder of the Lancaster PA Artist Society, so that's going to be a fun conversation. It's a society of artists that she has founded and started. We're going to find out what that's all about.
Sounds like she's assembled them into an interesting collective.
Yes, and she is quite the artist herself. Maybe we'll see some of her artwork here on the show. So,
yep. But it's summertime. It's the day before the week of July 4th week.
Yes.
Which means mattress sales. Fantastic, right? Celebrate the birth of our nation. We didn't become a nation being a bunch of tired, unrested peoples. We got our good sleep. And then we said, we don't like the king. We declare independence. And that's what happened. Sorry, my earbud fell out.
Yeah, I was good.
As I went to sleep.
Yeah, you knocked it out.
And that's what happened 249 years ago. Next year is 250 years.
It's crazy.
I've never, I never got to be a part of that. In 76.
That's true.
Was 200 years, so I wasn't around.
I wasn't around either.
My wife was just born that year.
No, you went there.
Oh, 100%.
Rough.
So, Independence Day sales events going on. A lot of great offers. Actually, the one that's really hot, but helps cool you down, is right there on the screen. Tempur-Pedic Breeze right now. Save up to $500 on the best-selling Breeze mattresses. But wait, there's more. There's more.
You even shocked me.
Right now, there's Tempur-Pedic has a price increase coming. They haven't had one for quite some time. And they're almost always the last company to increase prices whenever there's macroeconomic pressures. And they have an increase coming next week, the 10th. Well, the week after next, that is, the 10th. And nominal increases, $100 to $200 a unit, depending on what size we're talking about, depending on what model. But for Breeze models, which are known and proven to help you sleep 10 degrees cooler, so great for this time of year. Not only can you save the $500 right now, but with the price increase coming and the $300 in-store gift we give you, and because we just connected to a really great buying group that is a not-for-profit buying group, that means we get to return those savings to you, our customer. And I think I hope I'm not violating anything by saying this, but if another retailer is a brand source buying group member, fantastic for them. They can make the savings too, but we'll say it first. So that means we get to say it. Up to a $200 rebate on Tempur-Pedic for a total package of $1,200 savings, which outrivals the biggest Black Friday Tempur-Pedic savings.
That's true.
I think have been like $700.
Yeah, I've never seen anything much more than 700.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening right now. If you've been thinking about sleep, investing in sleep, and maybe you don't know if a Tempur-Pedic's right. Maybe you've been thinking about a Tempur-Pedic. Maybe you just want to try one. Maybe you don't even know how to spell Tempur-Pedic. That's okay. We can come in and kind of give you the spelling bee test and a great rest test. And if it's a fit, we'll help you understand that and help you get it home. And we have financing for that, where you could own a wonderful new Tempur-Pedic Active Breeze adjustable set for like less than $100 a month. And
there's somebody out here watching this that has like 3 or 4 fans in their room, like set up. They got the big box fan, they got the window fan, they got the ceiling fan, the oscillating fan, and they're like, that Breeze is for me.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep. Yeah. And then they need to have our guests come into their home to help them with their air quality, airflow, to live more comfortable.
Hey, did you just transition us to our guest?
Well, I did, but when you bring it out, it's like kind of like
it's like explaining the joke.
It's like a speed bump. Those rumble strips.
Oh man!
So why don't you bring your guest
just
on?
Killed it. All right, hey, we are welcoming to the show Rachel Kantner. Rachel, welcome to Lancaster Connects.
Hello, Ben and Jeff. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. Talk about LPH, talk about Lancaster PA Artist Society. I'm just going to read a short little guest introduction so our listeners and watchers know what the show is going to be about here. So our guest today is Rachel Kantner, community advocate and creative force. I think that's accurate there. She helps run the century-strong family-owned Lancaster Plumbing and Heating, a trusted name in home comfort services. And when she's not keeping homes running smoothly, she's known as Rachel Majesty, founder of the Lancaster PA Artist Society, empowering local artists to shine. Again, Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's first talk about Lancaster Plumbing and Heating. One thing I didn't know until we started setting up the show, Lancaster Plumbing and Heating has been around since 1904.
Yep.
That's crazy. It's over 100 years old. I mean, we're talking about 249 years old for the country. Lancaster Plumbing and Heating is almost half of that. Mm-hmm. Almost.
Did you guys install the first furnace in somebody's house that wasn't like a wood stove and campfire spot in the corner?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. So first of all, I have to do my regular elevator pitch of Lancaster Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Go for it.
That's my name, Ben. Lancaster Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Yeah.
So it's the whole. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. We call it LPH for sure, or Lancaster Plumbing and Heating. And we have been around since 1904. The business looked completely different back then. And then it ended up into Scott Pepler's hands. And recently it has been handed down to Ange and Jenna and Larry. So we have 3 owners now. Ange and Jenna are sisters, and Larry is our general manager. And we are a very close-knit, small family-owned business.
That's awesome. So for you, how long have you been with the company, and what does it mean for you to be with such a long-standing company in the Lancaster community?
So I do not take it lightly. I have been very strategic in regards to where I wanted to spend my time. I knew that I wanted to be with a small family-owned business, but I wanted it to be sustainable and something that I could count on, and that the community can count on. I like to bring all of my experience to the table and not have to just stick to certain job duties. So I like to be able to help with the big picture. And sometimes that can get lost in a bigger company.
Sure.
So I am very happy at LPH. They let me use all of my talents, and I've been there for 7 years now.
Okay, yeah. And what does the business development manager role at LPH entail? Like, what are some of the things that you are responsible for?
My main purpose is to make sure that all of the customers are happy with their recent appointments. So every day I start with the appointments from yesterday, and I follow up on them in a variety of ways and just ask the customers about their experience. But I also have a long experience in networking. So as you know, Ben, I'm out there in all of the groups and visiting and talking to our community. I also have experience doing events. So I often do events for LPH as well. They're just little sprinkles on top of my main job.
Okay. That's fantastic. So you mentioned the names, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the names of the owners of LPH, but I know they're both women-led, or you're a women-led company, and also veteran-led. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe Larry was in the Air Force, Larry Gasser,
Okay.
and then Ange and Jenna are the Pepler daughters that took over. Jenna does marketing, Jenna Kaufman, and Ange Salisbury does a lot of things, mostly finances and management.
Yeah. Yeah. What's it like being in a women-led second generation? The second generation now owns the company along with Larry. Um, what's it like working for a women-led company that's usually a very male-dominated industry? How's that received
It,
by your techs, maybe, and even by the customer base, and then even your peers?
mhm. Well, it's a very empathetic, diverse company where everyone feels comfortable and the decisions get made in a very fair manner all the time. And I think that's because women are represented and comfortable and create a ideal culture. And then the veteran part of it, you can see showing up as hard work and um, lots of training.
Very good.
So, is most of the work you do residential or commercial as well, or is it all residential?
Yeah, we specialize in residential, but we do a lot of commercial plumbing work.
Okay. Yeah.
But we focus on helping individuals in our community residential.
Okay. And what are some of the services that you specialize in? I know you have the long name, but what services should we know about from Lancaster Plumbing, heating, air conditioning, etc.?
Sure. Well, I often encourage people, if they've never tried us, if they do have a clog in their home, that we're a great company to try out in that situation. We have an incredible $93 special to have your main line cleared, which is very competitive. We don't try to be the cheapest option ever, but in that regards, we are the most competitive. So if you've never tried this before, definitely remember us if you have a clog. It can save you a lot of money, and we're very responsive.
Is a clog something you would know as, hey, this water isn't going down the device, be it the sink or the toilet or the drain in the garage? Or is it more, hey, this has gotten slow over time, I should have it looked at?
Yeah, there's lots of red flags where you can tell that it might be multiple drains,
Mm.
implying that it could be the main line. So if you're having trouble with multiple drains or your basement drain, then that would be a good red flag for that. But regardless, we can send you a plumber to go over that with you, no matter what the type of clog is.
Yeah. And, this brings something else that's sitting on my desk at home right now is the little card from the utility supplier about roots and other
Mhm.
things that can get into your line, and you're responsible as the homeowner. Would
Mhm.
like a drain cleaning, what your plumber does here, would your service be able to indicate, like, is that really real, or is that like just trying to sell me something I don't really need?
Yeah. So if we come out to clear your line, we can run a camera on the line if it's open to show
Mm.
you exactly what's going on. If the problem is corrosion from the type of piping you have, or if you have inappropriate materials going down there, we could see that as well.
Mm.
Or if you do have roots and yeah, then you get suggestions like a jetting or sometimes a sewer replacement.
Are sewer issues more of an older home thing, a newer home thing, or it doesn't really matter?
I think it would just depend on the age of your actual sewer line because you can have an
Oh, okay.
older home with a new sewer, but certainly age is a factor and the type of piping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
I'd imagine the quality of work that was done to lay those new materials.
Yeah. If it was followed, like if they followed code and things like that. And oh, they can get so complicated. So I always say if you're going to invest in five-star service, because I understand you can't always do that. We all have budgets, but if you're going to invest in five-star service, your sewer definitely needs it. It can
Needs to be
get
watched.
messy fast. Yeah.
Yeah, figuratively and literally.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Yep.
Nobody wants, yeah. So I like to camp. We're going up to our campsite this weekend, and our camp trailer is on a permanent site. So we just go and hang out. It's like a little cabin in the woods. And I can't believe that people do this. They elect to move their waste with a little device that they hook on the back of their golf cart, or make their kids trailer down to the dump station. This has nothing like vacation to me at all.
No.
Or time or relax. Like none of that has anything to do with relaxation at all.
It feels like walking the dog and you're carrying the bag of poop, right? That's the visualization I got.
It's terrible. And so when you say you want to connect to 5-star service for things sewer related and water drain related, that's the visual that comes. Like, give me 10 stars of service, please. Like that's the way I approach camping. I would certainly do that at home.
Yeah, we just watched that documentary about the cruise where that didn't go very.
I've seen people post about that as well. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Poop cruise? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's the poop cruise.
I didn't know that that's where this podcast was going to head, but it's funny that we got there.
Well, it's a funny topic, so
Yep. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we also do water treatment and HVAC. So, and then of course electrical as well.
Thanks.
Ben. So anything
that was a great transition, Rachel, off the poop talk. Bringing up those other things, I saw as our great producer Chris from Cast Ahead. You need anything podcasting? Certainly reach out to him. He's in our show notes. We always like to give him a little shout out. I'm surprised he hasn't used the poop emoji yet on screen. But anyway,
he's probably sleeping back there. He's just.
But he had brought up about tankless water heaters.
Mm-hmm.
How great are those?
They're great. You can have endless hot water, and they're more efficient. So they definitely are becoming more popular, and we're doing lots of more free estimates for those. And we also have a $250 instant rebate that you could tell your technician or remind him about to throw on for you if you are interested in that. But what I love about LPH is they're not just going to quote that for you. They're going to come to your home with a plumber that specializes in tankless water heaters. And he's going to look at your current setup and your needs and why you're interested in it and talk to you honestly about if it is a good solution for you. And they are quite an investment. So we do have 0% interest financing for you as well.
Okay. That was my next question about the investment level. So you have ways to offset that investment. Is there a pay? Because this is something that interests me for our home. Because we've got 2 young men at home now, 17 and 21, and they both either work out constantly. One works a very labor intensive job. The other one is high school senior to be playing football. They take showers all the time. And it's like schedule your time in the shower in our home, which also corresponds with the amount of hot water you may have. Mm-hmm. So there's a payoff in that regard, right? Because no matter how much hot water you put through, it's always on demand. Is that correct?
Right. That's the whole point, is to be able to have hot water limitless.
Can you ever out shower that run of hot water with a tankless hot water heater?
I'm sure there's ways for you to exceed the tankless water heater expectations, but I personally am not an expert on that. I don't have a tankless water heater at my house because it's just me and my boyfriend and my son and 2 cats. So we're good.
Cats aren't using the
shower.
Not taking the shower.
Yeah.
With doing this maneuver. But your techs would have that answer, right? Your techs in the home to assess. And that was an assessment you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Hear the use case and be able to help somebody understand, hey, you have 17 people looking for 3 showers a day here. Maybe this size one isn't going to work, but this size one would. They would have that knowledge.
Yeah, they're awesome. And like if they are getting a request for a certain type of water heater, but they know it's not going to work out doing a 30 or 40 gallon water heater at your house, they'll tell you that. So they always have your best interest at heart, and we won't ever quote anything that is a bad idea.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Well, you stay in business for more than 100 years with that kind of integrity and forward-facing customer service.
Yeah, no question. And testimonial time for LPH. I'm a residential homeowner. I've used LPH for a number of different services for my home. One, I was having somebody do work in my basement, installing a wet bar, but he didn't have the electrical capabilities. Contacted Rachel. Rachel hooked me up with a couple of techs that came out to the house, and they were just fantastic, running new wire, explaining to the contractor that I had there how to do some small electrical things. Like, he had some questions. They were just awesome at explaining and doing the work that needed to be done. And I've had a number of things, electrical wise and even plumbing wise, that LPH has helped us with. And, part of that is because I'm part of the partner, what do you call it? Service partner plan. Is that the right name of it?
Yes.
So I'm a monthly subscriber to that plan, which means that I believe it's at least once a year, if not more frequently, I get contacted by electrical, by plumbing, by HVAC, different appointments, because it's different specialized technicians. They come out and set up appointments, check all of my systems, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and make recommendations based on what they find. In fact, just a few weeks ago, an electrician was out and noticed that my outlet or receptacle behind my washer and dryer could be GCFI. I don't know the right term.
Mm-hmm.
GFCI. He made a recommendation and said, "Hey, I can take care of this right on the spot." I'm like, "Go for it." I'm not the person to swap that out. And he was, in and out of there super quickly and efficiently. And all of your techs have always been amazing, communicative. A lot of times they're young guys, and they're just great to work with. So kudos to LPH and the culture that you all have created there. It's really great. So you can respond to that, but I want to have your feedback on the service partner plan.
Who's the business development manager here?
Right.
Is it Ben or is it Rachel?
Ben's heard me talk about LPH for years and years, and
Yep.
we appreciate your business so much, Ben, and I appreciate gardeners as well. You provided my son a bed, and as soon as these ones wear out, I'll be in the store again.
Yep.
But okay, the service partner plan membership, yes, it is awesome. And you get one heating, one cooling, one plumbing, and one electrical system check annually. So that is 4 appointments a year where you can have one-on-one time with the technician in that field. You can ask him questions. You can get things quoted for the future, so that you can plan for it. They are centered around safety and efficiency. So they're going to make sure that your equipment is operating efficiently. And if it's not, they'll give you their honest opinions about that and what you can do to get it running more efficiently so it can extend the life of your equipment. For instance, changing out your filters or having something cleaned. Or sometimes the HVAC techs will discover parts are going bad, especially this time of year. I always am like, yeah, definitely replace the capacitor. I don't want to be out of cooling on the hottest day of the year. And it's usually just a small investment to help with stress. Electrical is definitely centered around safety and code. There are so many panels in Lancaster County that are actually not even legal to have anymore. They're, I don't know what you would call it, like recall maybe. But there's a lot of panels out there that even though they're working, they could go bad at any moment. And when the technician discovers that, he just lets you know that that is the situation, and it is totally up to the homeowner as to what action they will want to take. And then the other things, like you said, a GFCI outlet near your washing machine, very common and easy way to prevent a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those appliances draw a lot of current, a lot of power.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that he recommended that, because that's not something that I would know to look for.
Yeah. They can discover such crazy things. Like there's a a line that goes into your house from the electrical outside. And at my house, it had water in it. And I'm not testing that. I'm not opening any wall nooks and crannies to like look for
Right.
that. So
Right.
it's just they have a lot of responsibility to bring up tough um realities. Sometimes it can be bittersweet because I know nobody's excited about home repairs like we are, but but it's definitely better to know
Yeah.
what's going on than not.
Well, and it's a very real thing. Like I had a receptacle fixed at home that the prior homeowner, who fancied himself a jack of all trades, but really master of none type DIYer, and he ran an outlet out from the basement, outside the wall, outside external outlet. Looked good. Conduit was good. However, it was a indoor fixture. It was an indoor receptacle. And so being in the sun, that side of the house gets sun pretty much from 10 in the morning till sunset, 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night in the summer, for 15, actually longer than that, probably 18, 19 years. This outlet had just literally melted away from heat exposure, usage. And I said, like, yeah, when I plug stuff in, it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. Just fix it. He's like, well, you used interior parts. I'm like, well, I didn't do that. The person before me did. And it's like, yeah, that in the right circumstances, that thing could have caught fire. And, sadly, you wouldn't know it until the whole side of your house was on fire. Wow. You don't want to mess around with electrical. You want to make something right. And so your service partner plan, question for you, when you book that as a customer, does LPH, do you reach out and remind the members of that to be using their 4 appointments a year?
Yeah, we do. We have a variety of different ways to remind people, email, text, and sometimes phone calls. In addition to the system checks, they're called, those 4 appointments, you also get priority service. So, as you know, it is so hard to keep good employees, and we have very high expectations as far as who works for us and who we're sending to people's homes. So, a way that we stay competitive is we only send our on-call technicians to members. So after hours and the weekends, if you have an emergency and you're a member, we can get you an on-call technician. Yeah, we try to limit their overtime as much as possible so they can deliver 5-star service to everybody. What else? Okay, then you get discounts too. Once you're a member, the iPad that the technician uses to present any suggestions, it'll automatically acknowledge that you're a member and give you member pricing, which is, I think it's 15% off of repairs. It's huge.
That's not small.
Yeah, it ends up paying for itself financially most of the time when you have a big repair to do. But there's also so much other value to being a member.
Yeah. And I've never, being a member of the plan and having recommendations presented by the technician, I've never once felt pressured like, oh, you have to do this or this is going to happen. Obviously, you want that laid out if it's an electrical failure, right?
Yeah.
But I've never once, and there's been times where maybe they recommended a toilet repair, and I could do that myself. They, they presented that they could do it, but that's maybe something I can do myself. So it's great that they don't pressure you into a service. Sometimes you get your car looked at or something like that, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I better do this, or my car is going to go off the road, right? Sometimes that's how that's presented. So, you've got over 2,700 Google reviews. How do you go about, and you talked about your technicians and how great they are, how do you go about maintaining that, 5-star reputation as a company?
Yeah, so we are empowered to always make the right choice regarding our vendors, the equipment, our customers, everything, which is what I needed when I chose my company that I wanted to work for. I didn't want to have to make decisions based off of fear because we didn't have a choice. LPH invests in their company so much to make sure that we can handle anything that goes wrong and we can be responsive and come out out without negotiating much. If a customer has a problem and we were out recently, we'll come out right away and help with a warranty issue with no dispatch charge. It's so important. And if anybody is ever dissatisfied, we will communicate however they want in a way to resolve the situation absolutely every single time. It's like number one priority.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's the way business should be done. It's our philosophy here. Things aren't going to go 100% according to plan 100% of the time. A mark of a great business is how you handle situations that arise like that. So that's awesome to hear that you have a philosophy behind, great, excellent customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we've done business here at the store with Lancaster Plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drain cleaning.
Yeah.
I knew it was in there. I forgot the order. I messed up the order. But yeah, you guys have a great culture in that the tech at that time, this is when we had our outlet location, which we don't anymore. So don't head over to Lincoln Highway East as a result of seeing this. But there was a moment in time in Gardner's history where like 3 of our toilets went bad in a period of 2 weeks.
Happens.
And when you have a retail store, you've got 88 toilets, and they're not just the $1.99 special you buy off of the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot. They have to be a certain height and certain depth, and they just helped with that. And we had one that was leaking. But the tech was telling me, yeah, we have a great apprenticeship program, which I'm guessing is still running.
Yeah, I that reminds me, because Ben, you mentioned that we have a lot of young guys. Mm-hmm. Well, I love when Jenna says it. She says, grow your own technicians. And it is so competitive to try and have the best team possible. But that is our number one way of doing it. And they end up staying and being loyal, and they learn from the older generations. And we have specific weekly trainings for each department where they're learning new things in their specific trade, or things are being brought to their attention about the community, things like that. So.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I recall that conversation between the grizzled, the grizzled older tech and the younger apprentice kid. I don't know I don't know what the background was, but I overheard the apprentice talking to the older tech, and it was kind of a theme of, I appreciate you reminding me about the process here. I get it now, and thank you for getting me back on track.
That's awesome.
Was kind of the tone that I picked up on. Who knows all the ins and outs of that conversation, but the point was, in that moment, the younger man understood he's part of something cool, part of something bigger. There's a future, and he can see it, which I think is something every company can strive for. And I just, as a business owner, being able to see that was pretty neat. And then I got to talk to your tech. He's like, they're great. I make a nice wage. I'm very secure for my family. We have a great work-life balance. And they really respect that. And I get to see my kids' baseball games, which is important to me. And so, yeah, y'all are doing it right, which is why we love having you on the show.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, I know like the main hot topic for Lancaster Plumbing and Heating isn't our work culture. Like, oh, I love it here so much. Like, who cares? But it does trickle down. I mean, that's exactly why we are able to deliver 5-star service to everyone, is because they invest in their employees and make sure that everyone has a good work-life balance. And that's how we're able to keep good people with us.
That's great. One of the things we like to talk about when we have businesses on the show with us, small businesses in the Lancaster community, is how you're giving back to the Lancaster community. And I know LPH does a really great job making giving back to the community a focus. Can you talk about the ways that LPH gives back?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a whole part of our website called Community that will show you everything we're involved in. But since you have me on the show, I'll tell you about the ones that I usually have a good hand in. So we're very involved with Humane Pennsylvania. and we sponsor adoptions regularly. Jenna has one coming up in July that we'll be posting on our social media soon, I believe. And then Jenna, one of the owners, they like I said, they are so good to their employees, and she lets me use all my talents, and she put me on the board for Art for Our Sake, which is Humane Pennsylvania's art auction every year. So I'm on the board there. I help get more paintings to auction off from different artists, and I also contribute one myself and go over there and do live painting as much as I can. The other one that I'm personally involved in is the Delaware Valley Golden Retriever Rescue. That's a tough one for me every single time. DVGRR. But they are incredible, Ben. Have you guys had them on here?
We did. We had a little Namen on the show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we had a little pup. He made an appearance. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. They actually have people living on site there, and then a program where they have like a pretend home environment for dogs to get acclimated to. But yeah, those two are my favorites that I have a lot to do with. We also donated a boiler to Clare House. We do a PA Breast Cancer Coalition campaign every year. We just recently have been working with Teresa Moore, which I know was just on here, with Help the Fight.
Yep.
And then the Littus Rec Center, they've donated, I believe, water bottle fillers and like water fountains things over there, and they do a lot of the triathlon things over there with our bells.
That's cool.
Yeah, so those are my favorites.
Township baseball, go Streaks. Yeah, see that down there in the bottom right. Well done.
Yeah. It's a little
Coach here led his 10-year-olds to a victory on a great field the other night.
We have a berth in the playoffs.
Yes, good jobber.
That's awesome. So I love the community page. So we obviously gardeners, we try to give back to the community when we can. The show is a way for us to give back, and we love seeing other organizations like LPH and the effort you guys put into. It's not just one community efforts; it's multiple community efforts. It's very clear that it's a focus for LPH to give back to the Lancaster community, and a lot of those organizations we've had on the show. But there's thousands of great organizations in the Lancaster community that small businesses can and really should be helping. So that's awesome to see, and love that you and I'm sure all of the employees or most of the employees there are involved in these efforts one way or another.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to mention a personal experience, if you don't mind, Ben,
Please.
about LPH helping somebody in my life. One of my best friends is in testing to donate a kidney to my boyfriend who's on dialysis.
Oh, wow.
And she's a single mom, just trying to make it. And her birthday was coming up recently, and I discovered she still needed her toilet replaced. And it's always kind of like awkward when you're when you have a friend use LPH, and like I don't want to like overstep or anything, but I'm like, it's her birthday. It's been a while. Like, I need to get this girl a toilet. So long story short, that'll be the year that I gave Emily a toilet for her birthday. LPH really stepped up and helped me do that, as well as Hajoka donated a toilet.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then Jim, the plumbing manager, was like, Emily really needs her sink fixed as well, and he wanted that included for her as well. So they fixed her sink as well, and they're just amazing.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Love it.
Very good.
Love it. Anything else that we talked about LPH, we covered a lot. Anything else that you'd like to share about LPH as we wrap up our time talking about LPH?
No, just that you can 100% trust that they will not do any work without your authorization, and your satisfaction is guaranteed, and we're very responsive. So give us a shot.
Love it. Love it.
Love it. Yeah, and your, so the bridge here between your artist endeavors and passions kind of goes to that charity thing you talked about, where you're on the board for I think the ARF auction. Is that what I heard?
Art for ARF's sake. Yes, it's
Art
an.
for ARF's sake. Okay, I was kind of
Mhm.
close. If you hang around these parts long enough, you get what Jeff is saying. Um, and so you said you donate a painting, so that goes to your creative side of the the artist society that you've started up. So tell us a little bit about that and the painting and why you love painting and what you're trying to do with artist society.
Yeah, no problem. A few years ago, and Ben, I don't even know, you might even remember this, but like a few years ago, I got the courage to start painting because I had such a good work-life balance at LPH, and I feel like I really understood my job, and I kind of was like a little bit of autopiloting, and I could go after some new passions. So I started taking some classes and made some really big paintings, which I always had wanted to do. I started out with like 3 or 4 really big paintings not too long ago. I think my first solo show was May 2024. Um, but yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I've always been a creative. Years ago, we had a little group called Lancaster Indie Arts that I could always count on to collaborate and throw a show together. And I just noticed that we don't have anything like that anymore in our area. And that there was no reason that I wasn't able to start it up myself. So we started Lancaster PA Artist Society, totally 100% to support artists with no ulterior motives. I'm focusing on low cost or free opportunities and using all of my experience and anyone helping me along the way. I'm trying to have them accessible to LPAS as well.
So, Rachel, we're going to talk more about the Lancaster PA Artist Society, but I think you're underselling your ability as an artist. I remember watching your journey. I mean, really, you said a 3-year journey here. It's so cool when like people have a passion to do something. So often in life, like, we have a passion to do something and nobody, or maybe you don't take the step forward to do it. You've done that. And like to see your artwork grow and your passion grow. I mean, you're posting online, you're on Facebook, you've got your website. It's so cool to see what you've been able to do with painting, like turning that passion into what you've turned it into is really, really cool. In fact, you mentioned that May 2024 show. I think I was at that show. Was that the one you had on Queen Street? Super cool. My family was there. We got a little bird painting. I don't know what you call that, but the little bird is kind of like one of your signature art pieces. We've got a little magnet on our fridge. It's super, super cool. I think you're an amazing artist, and I love to see. I've loved to see what you've created with it. It's really, really cool.
Oh, thank you so much, Ben. Yeah, thank you so much for coming to that first show. It's just crazy to think about that all actually happened.
So one of the things I wanted to ask when Chris is scrolling through here, how would you describe your artwork? I know your name is Rachel Majesty.
That was the question I had. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is how do you describe your art?
Yeah, so I just love the drama behind the word majestic and majesty. And I love making over the top fantasies out of mundane items and making even something that is not uncommon seem majestic. So I have made that my pen name, Rachel Majesty, for the art world.
That's so cool. And what kind of painting is it? Is it? I mean, I know very little about the styles, but I know there's like watercolors, there's oil, there's what is what you do?
Yeah, they would call me a multimedia artist. Okay. I have 2 bodies of work. One is focused on portraits and more personal things from my life, and the other is more surrealism. And I primarily work in acrylic paints, but you'll see all kinds of other things in my work as well, such as paper mache and shells and ink, anything really.
Okay. And I know, I'm sorry, Jeff, maybe, yeah, you were just working on this one recently, right?
Yeah, it's right downstairs. I'm like, oh my God.
How big is that?
So
How big is that painting?
She had to jump at the
it's
top.
8 feet. It's 8 feet.
So you borrowed a ladder off of one of the service guys' trucks to paint that. Nice. Now, when you say, multimedia, paper mache, my mind immediately went to, are you a Friends fan? Do you watch the show Friends at all, reruns?
Yeah.
So
what am
Phoebe,
I not remembering?
So Phoebe with the Glennis and Gladys paintings and paper maches with coming out, the haunted women coming out of the paintings.
That sounds amazing. I gotta rewatch that.
Oh yeah, you have to look. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
I don't know Friends as
For
well.
For a second there, I felt
do.
all alone talking about Gladys and Gladys. Yeah, you have to look it up. My wife and I just watched that episode the other day. It's hilarious.
I will.
Yeah.
So Lancaster PA Artist Society, can you explain again what that is and what you're doing with it and how to be part of it?
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's a section on my website, rachelmajesty.com/LPAS, that is currently updated. That was no small feat.
I'm sure. That's awesome.
Has all of our opportunities on it right now. We're primarily a Facebook group, but my partner and I do reach out individually to text and DM people that show interest. So if Facebook is an obstacle for you, don't feel left out. We can still communicate with you. We're really excited about this calendar. It's a way for you to get your artwork into a calendar, and then they will be distributed to each artist's network. So the idea is the artist is supposed to give the calendars as gifts to their best collectors or potential collectors. And in that way, we'll be able to share our networks with each other.
That's a really cool idea. I like that.
Thank you.
Neat.
And then there's tons of events, studio visits, shows, opportunities. And then at the end, there's 2 fall shows that we're accepting applications for.
And when are those shows and where are they going to be?
Sure. So we have Sketches and Sorcery at the Troll Market. Have you guys been to the Troll Market?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
It sounds crazy, but it's like super impressive. It's near Central Market and Hager Arcade. Okay. Yeah. So they have a room in there that's really rustic and super interesting, with a bar, and we're going to have one of our LPH employees' daughters selling cider at the bar.
Oh, cool.
And we have room for 6 artists in there, and I'm just splitting the room fee equally. So it's just $41 to participate in that one if you're interested. And then after that, in October, we have a show at the Lancaster Cemetery. That's going to be really exciting with a ghost tour afterwards. That's absolutely free to set up at.
That's really, really cool. I know you're an aficionado of ghost tours and all things haunted, right? So that makes sense. That's cool. I love it.
Yes. Thank you.
Nice.
What do you want to do with the Lancaster PA Art Society? Like, what's kind of the long-term vision of, like what's down the road?
So I'm just trying to reach as many artists as I can to grow our core group of people who participate, so that we will be able to throw a calendar together with no problem. We will be able to put on the show like quickly and help each other. I even have my art coach that helped me get to where I am at, speaking to our
Uh-oh.
group on a Zoom. So I have access to that as well. I just want to support artists of every level with no ulterior motive. I just want them to be lifted up, because a lot of them are struggling financially. So they don't have the support and they need it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Love it.
Very good. Well, happy to put some shine on Lancaster PA Art Society or Artist Society today. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you'll get the recording of this, as all our guests do, and you can carve it up, slice it up however you like, and share this part out with all your artists so they can jump in on that calendar, which is a very cool way. Yeah, I'm reminded of the calendar. We get a calendar from our Amish foundation supplier every year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like nature clip art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, what's his name in the factory? Hillsdale. What's his name?
Hillside.
Oh
gosh, why I'm blanking on it too.
Well, it would have to be like David or David.
One of the Amish names.
Yeah. It'd be funny to present your artist calendar to him. Like, we want a calendar from Rachel's artist.
Right.
See what the Amish guy would say about that. Maybe not the exact audience, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who would love a calendar with your art and other people's art in it. So very cool idea. I really like that. Sharing in networks is cool too. Yep. All right. I think it's time for Connection Cocktail.
Yeah, let's do it. Got some more time for us, Rachel?
Sure thing.
All right. So first question. Favorite book, podcast, TV show you might be enjoying right now?
So my favorite podcast is Creative Pet Talk by Andy J. Pizza. It's all about supporting creatives and encouraging them and helping them come up with new strategies to be successful.
And did you say his last name is Pizza?
Yeah.
So look up Pizza Podcast. You might find other podcasts.
I feel so inferior on this show. Rachel Majesty, somebody with the last name of Pizza and a podcast. And here I'm going through life with Janakalo. That's the last name.
Well, you use G, so you got G.
I got that. Okay.
That's cool.
Other than my lamenting about my last name, dream vacation, Rachel. Where is your dream vacation spot?
Good one.
So this was tough for me. You said anywhere in the world too, which I don't know. So I've been spending a lot of time in New England and I'm just like in love with it up there. So I go up there as much as I can. My brain isn't really thinking outside of that, but I did Google best beach combing in the world because I'm obsessed. And it said Sanibel Island, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to see my house?
Yeah. So when you say beach combing, you're looking for things to maybe incorporate into your artwork?
Yes.
Because I know you do that. You found even trash on the sidewalk or something, or in the yard or something, and you're incorporating that, maybe painting it into your artwork. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love beach combing, and I have like a million shells, but it feels like not enough.
You got to collect them all. It's like Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's cool. All right. So last question. Your favorite spot in Lancaster? It could be a restaurant, could be coffee shop, park. Where's Rachel's go-to place?
So I have to cheat and mention two places. One is Levin Goods, 219 West Walnut Street in Lancaster. Cool. They are they're doing cider, but they also have espressos. And they have been so supportive to me and all of my artists. They don't take any commission for any of the work that we sell there. And they're just incredible. We meet there a lot to have artist meetings and things like that. And it's the best.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Very good.
And then, can I say the other one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry. The other one is Urban Arts House, where I am at right now. It's where I rent my studio from.
Oh, cool.
Deborah Whistle and Christian I just call him Chris Yecker, are the owners, and they're creating an incredible community here that I'm so grateful to be a part of. Chris got that panel for me to paint, and that's where I have a lot of my events now.
That's awesome. So it's like a collective art space for artists. That's very cool. Love it.
And what was the name of that again?
It's called Urban Arts House. We're on Orange Street. Okay. And there's lots of studios for rent, and there's a gallery downstairs. And we're having an open house on July 4th.
Very cool. So come inside, cool off a little bit, take in some art.
Yeah, there's going to be a band on the porch too. I saw videos of previous events where they had the band on the porch, and it looks so fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And we had a comment from a brother and fellow long last names, Damian Schlegelmilk.
I think Rachel knows this person.
I think Ben does too.
I do. Yeah, we met at a concert one time. That's right, in Philadelphia.
Oh,
that's right.
I feel like, should I just leave the show? I feel like I'm not part of the show.
So Damien is Rachel's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And we were at a concert together. Was that
Welcome to the podcast,
Queens of the Stone Age? I think last or maybe like 2 Octobers ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, great, fantastic show. But Damien said the opportunities of the LPAS group seem amazing. So I think he knows they're amazing. He's just acting as commenter on the show, right?
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
Rachel, it's been great.
Did I at least say his name right?
Well, I say Schlegelmilch.
Schlegelmilch.
Okay. And he confirmed Queens of the Stone Age it was. Yes, it was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show, representing Lancaster Plumbing, heating, drain cleaning, air conditioning, cooling. Electric. Yes. Fantastic company, handling all of those trades needs, right? And the Lancaster PA Artist Society, I think it's so cool what you've been able to create out of your artwork, and of course with your artwork, and helping to create opportunities for other artists like yourself. I think it's really, really cool. So, definitely check out rachelmajesty.com/LPAS. See what other cool artists are doing in Lancaster County.
Very cool. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great day.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Rachel what that wave was.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like you picked up on that wave immediately. She had the wave. I felt like an outsider. I'm suddenly an outsider on this show, it seems.
So Rachel mentioned she's kind of a network queen, right? Mm-hmm. She's been part of Referral Partners Plus for a long, long time. We've spent a lot of time together in referral groups. And again, I meant it when I said it earlier, just to watch her passion grow in art is just been really, really cool. Because I think it's rare to see people not only follow their passion, but then like stick with it and grow.
Well,
and
it's not
really
easy.
Cool.
It's not easy when you're putting yourself out there as an artist.
No.
Because you're putting what you really love, that you see differently you see the world differently through a seashell or something you find on the street, or the way you take the paint and the way you mix the paint color you use, that type of paint.
Yeah.
And you're just laying it all out there to bear for judgment.
And that's what art is, right? It's an expression of self, but a lot of times it's judged and misunderstood maybe. And I think it's cool that she's just gone for it and grown. It's just fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for her. I mean, if Nickelback can be a worldwide artist, there's a place in the world for Rachel's stuff. I mean, because it's certainly better than any Nickelback song.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's the joke right now. Like, everybody loves Nickelback again. But
is that really?
Like, nobody liked them for the last 30 years, but now everybody loves Nickelback again.
I don't pay attention.
Anyway, it's a joke. Anyhow, my sleep better tip, very appropriate for the time of year we're in, and it's a very simple one. Hydrate.
Good one.
And as I said to Ben with the Blue Streaks baseball little run you're all on, what did I say the other day? Remind your players to hydrate. And hydration happens not 15 minutes before the game, because then it's half hour in. Hey, coach, I got to go to the bathroom.
It's an all-day thing.
Same thing about bedtime, right? You don't hydrate at 9:30 at night because then you'll be up all night going to the bathroom. You hydrate throughout the day. And I was reminded of my own sleep better tip. last night because I had a massive leg cramp, like the kind where it feels like somebody reached up the side of the bed and like
grabbed you and didn't let
grabbed
go.
onto your like calf muscle. Yeah, that's what happened. And it was because
you were dehydrated.
Steph and I went for a slingshot ride yesterday afternoon, and then I was in my garage working on the slingshot, in which I had my own little electrical mess up. I wired up the switch wrong and created a circuit in which it just fried all my wiring. So that was an afternoon wasted. Yay for Jeff. I should have called an expert like Rachel's team at Lancaster Plumbing,
probably could help.
Electric drain cleaning. I know what I did wrong. It was just in haste I made that mistake. But all that to say, I didn't drink enough water throughout the day.
And it was hot.
And it was hot, and had a lot of activity over the whole weekend, and it caught up with me, and I got that claw on my calf muscle, and like, oh my gosh, what's waking me up? And I didn't hydrate enough. So hydrate. Help your body regenerate overnight. A lot happens. It can't happen without water. It's and
it's like one of the easiest things you could possibly do, right?
Everybody's got a water tap at home.
Yep.
And you can drink it.
Yep.
And if you don't, you can call Rachel and they'll help you.
That's true. All right. That's a great sleep better tip. So often these simple things in life
like I'm going to give bad ones.
I know. But we don't think about how they affect sleep. Like being dehydrated and a cramp. Yeah, of course that affects your sleep.
And then I was afraid to move. Like, that after effect, like you feel it. Like if you just move just a little bit, it's like, oh, it's going to get me again.
Happen again. Right.
And then it got me.
Right.
All right. You can do your testimonial.
Testimonial time. We had Daniel from a few days ago give us a Google review. I know you can't see that because it's a shiny screen, but Daniel gave us a 5-star review here. Went to Gardner's to experience a specific brand, talked with a very knowledgeable staff, and tried many mattresses and platforms to raise head and foot of the bed. So when you're talking about issues like circulation trouble, restless legs, snoring, acid reflux, we could do hours and hours of a podcast show about the benefits of an adjustable bed. Anyway, after 2 hours, Daniel said we happily made a purchase at Gardner's. So point there is mattress shopping doesn't have to be quick. It's not really an in and out sort of thing. I'm buying that one because it's a specific brand or on sale or whatever. We encourage people to spend the right amount of time to make the right decision with the help and assistance of our trained sleep professionals, exploring the sleep solutions that are going to be the best for sleep needs. So we want people to spend hours with us. If it takes hours over multiple visits, that's great, because our ultimate goal is happy morning wake-ups, and that can only happen with the proper amount of time being spent. So thank you, Daniel. Thanks for your business, and thanks for your review.
Yeah, and just to add to that, and here's a fan. Teresa from Help the Fight loves Rachel. You can read that on the screen. But to Ben's point on the testimonial on the time, it may not be 2 hours. It might be an hour. But what I would ask is your focus, right? So think about the focus you give on buying a new car that you might be in for a half hour a day. And the car doesn't add anything to your life. It doesn't help you live longer. It doesn't turn back the clock of time with your metabolic clock that we now know sleep can help improve. It doesn't do any of that. It might make you feel really good. You might be very safe, but it doesn't add to your life, right? And sleep can do that. You spend time on a phone, a new computer, a new television, which one to get, 85 inches or 60 inches, right? All these questions.
Yep.
And you may not know the questions about a new mattress because it's very subjective. All those things I just listed are very objective.
Yep.
If you've got a big family, you're not buying a sports car, you're buying a minivan or a third row SUV, right? If you're buying a new appliance for that big family, you need a big fridge with a lot of drawers and fail safes so the kids don't leave the freezer door open, which has happened in my house many times. Objective things. We're here to help cut through that subjective. And as Ben said with his testimonial from Daniel, sometimes it takes time, and we would just ask that you give it that because sleep's important and it helps extend your life. And that's what we're here to do. Help Lancaster County wake up happy, live longer, be happier.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well done. I think that's a wrap.
It is a wrap. Well, the time says it's a wrap.
It does. Chris is like,
yeah. And that's not a cramp. That's just the podcast producer giving us the cane from stage left.
Right.
All right. On that note, we'll see you next week on Lancaster Connects. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Please keep all 5 fingers this holiday.
Yes.
Please be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Take care. exploded through the roof. So there you go.